What's going on, y'all? So listen. Whew. What's going on, y'all? So we are back again for another episode review of The Shy, Season 7, Episode 11, Ready or Not. Girl. Because why did the last, that Jada scene and it... Girl, I was in my feelings over here, okay? Like, waterfalls. Waterfalls. Anyway, we'll get there. What is this episode? Girl, Bakari. Okay, we just gonna go like that because, honestly, I kind of blanked out on a little stuff. But no, we get up into the episode. We do get Bakari. Bakari, listen, I'm so scared for Bakari at this point. His whole storyline, like, you see, he's on the same path somewhat like Emmett. And what I mean by that, not necessarily doing the same thing as him, but he was trying to change his life around and evolve. Because when we first saw Emmett, he was wayward, he was a whore, he was just, he had the sneaker business, he was doing all this stuff, whatever, to make ends meet, but he was still just being literally a player, a whore, all this other stuff. He didn't have no real life goals as to where he was going to go, and then he turned into literally a one man type of person, a one woman man, I should say, and a business owner, a family man, and he's all about his responsibilities and everything like that. He has matured. Bakari, he's a street kid that's turned into a street guy, and he's trying to get out of that. He never had anybody around to love him for real. And that is his problem. The one person that truly loved him and saw him for who he was Lene. And he chose the streets over her because he felt like he didn't have no real choice. And honestly, I know Lene feels some type of way, but it would have been a lose-lose situation. Because the way Nuck out here rolling, I really feel like if he would have chose not to be his second in command, Nuck probably would have put him down. Okay? Nuck really probably would have put him down because ain't no talking to him. You know what I'm saying? Sometimes when they in their head, these niggas in their head, they in their head, and what they want to go, what they say go. Okay? And especially if they already got it made up, yeah. I just feel like Bakari was in a lose-lose situation, and he's still in a lose-lose situation. And all he was trying to do was elevate and get up out of the whole street life or whatever. He saw probably a good future with Lene because, again, she's the only person that truly saw him. Because y'all remember when Bakari first came on, Bakari and, Jacob and Papa and them, they weren't getting along because Jacob brother was, Reg, and Bakari people was on the opposite side. Their peoples was going against each other. You know what I'm saying? And so eventually they were enemies, and then they became cool, and then they became friends. And they became real good friends after Kevin left, because Kevin, he basically took the place of Kevin, And so you got that. Now he's trying to, he was trying to go to school. He was trying to do the book and everything and thinking that that's going to be his way out or whatever. But the streets, you got people in his corner. He got more people in his corner that's rooting against him than for him. That's what it seemed like. A more powerful force, and that's Nuck in him. And he's scared of Nuck. Okay? And you got Alicia now, who is pissed off because she know he was lying to her. She know he was lying to her about the fact that Zay ain't the one that took my son. It was actually Nuck. But he didn't say that it was Nuck. But he said that Nuck told me that it was Zay. So that's why I said that. He keep trying to save his ass. And so at this point, you really put a whole mark on Nuck back. I don't know if Bakari understand that or know that when you say, well, Nuck told me that it was Zay. And you just put a whole target on his back, okay, with Alicia. Now she know for sure, I'm pretty sure that she know that it was Nuck, okay? And so at this point, he goes over there, he tells not Alicia, but Nuck and all that stuff, and Nuck had some type of some you weak or whatever. How you think she knowing all this stuff? He said I threw up when we put him on the steps. I threw up, so he got my DNA. And I was like, you a weak ass nigga. You weak, my a weak right hand man. He said, well, nigga, I didn't even really want to do this. You the one that made me do it. And I said, see, I feel bad for Bakari. And then that scene, I was sitting here and I said, I know. And let me tell you something. Lena has a way of incorporating real life stuff into her shows and her movies, and paying homage to things that happened in the past, or cinema that happened in the past. So when that scene popped up, when Jacob and Bakari was going to the store, they come out the store, you see the red car pull up, the red Mercedes, and then you see them split up, run into the alley, then they split up, and then the whole reenactment. I said, oh, Lena, Boys in the Hood? Boys in the Shot? Like, what the freak? And that's literally what it was, but Bakari was having a drink. Because Bakari was looking at Boys in the Hood. He fell asleep looking at the movie. And he had already told Nuck, I feel like somebody's going to kill me. That's why he had to tell him about the whole situation with Alicia. I had to give props, because if you are an avid black film cinema viewing person, especially 90s cinema, you picked up instantly on the Boys in the Hood scene. From the moment Jacob and Bakari was put on scene, you see the denim shirt that Jacob had, right? Same as Cuba Gooding Jr.'s character in Boys in the Hood. You saw the sweatshirt type situation, same as Ricky's character in Boys in the Hood that Bakari had on. The red car, it was a red car in Boys in the Hood. Them going into the alley, him scratching off the scratcher, the lottery ticket, and then I said not getting shot in the knee and getting shot in the back. I was like, oh my God, Lena, what the hell are you doing, bitch? And then when he woke up, I said, oh my God, okay. I feel so bad for him. I feel so bad for Bakari at this point, because he really don't want to do this stuff. And then Lene, I get where she coming from. Like, you chose the streets. You chose the street instead of telling me. And then he wound up telling her. That Nuck was the one that killed Rob. And I'm like, oh my God. Now, I know you say you could trust Lene, but what is something you just don't know these days? I probably wouldn't have said nothing. But, that's her boo. I mean, that's his boo, and he trying to get her back, and, and so start off by, let me tell you the truth. I know who killed Rob, and it's Nuck, and, he's scared. He is in a lose-lose situation, and I feel so bad for him. I really do. Meanwhile, you got Rashad out here flourishing. Rashad, the girl, what's her name? Her name was Nora. Met her at the little picnic fair situation the week before. Wind up going to his favorite restaurant, which was Smokey. And she did not... See, listen, I already like Nora. Compared to all of the women that Rashad has been seen with, she seems more of his speed. And what I mean about that is she's not so materialistic. She's not so bougie. She don't seem like the type that's going to be hounding him about where he at, what he going to be doing. You need to go out there and get a job. She's understanding. Not saying that she going to coddle this man, because they ain't got that far. But you could just tell she's an understanding type of person. And she gets that it's hard out here and people are trying. Okay? That one relationship that Rashad had, when he wound up cheating on her with old girl that was dating Jim or Daddy, yeah, I knew that wasn't gonna last, because the class difference, and then it was just so she was kind of embarrassed being with him, and it just wasn't gonna work. And then you got the Alicia of it all. He was working for her, and then she just this power mode, and she want to take over everything. That never was really going to work. And plus, she's older. I feel like Nora is more of his speed, more down to earth, more understanding, and I like her for him. Like she didn't care that they was at Smokies and it wasn't like this big fancy restaurant or whatever. Listen, I like that type of stuff. See, I'm simple like that. I'm simple like that. Like I don't care for all of that type of stuff. I would prefer somebody that don't care for all of that type of stuff. But I do know people do care for that stuff. But I know if and it don't even matter. Even if you do, like, let me spring it on you because I want to, not because you're expecting it or something like that. You know what I'm saying? That's how I am. You know, like I like to treat my peoples. I would like to treat my woman, but at the same time, I don't like an overly materialistic type person. Like I like nice things. You can like nice things, but baby, don't do too much. Don't do too much. But I really like the vibe that I'm getting from Rashad, and he looks happy. Granted, it's only been a couple of days or so, or probably a week or whatever, but you can see his aura has literally just changed. He looks happier. You get Damian. Oh, Damian's up here fucking around with Zori in Emmett's and Tiffany's home. Not Tiffany, but Keisha home. You got the door locked because they up in there fucking and she ain't even supposed to be up in there. Had her hiding underneath the bed. Oh, to Keisha from season 1 when Emmett and Keisha was messing around and, you know, Jada came up in there. Or either it was Jada that Jada came up in there and found her under the bed, you know. And it was the same thing. Basically, first of all, if you gotta have... No. I'm not had nobody underneath nobody's bed, okay? Baby, we ain't doing that. We grown, okay? But, you know, they had to tell Emmett and them was putting down some rules, you know. You can't be just letting anybody up in this house. You can't be gambling and all of this stuff, or you literally gonna get kicked out, okay? Anyway, moving on from that, you got Darnell who is up there talking to Riley. I found out that's her name, Riley, played by Wendy Raquel Robinson. Happy belated birthday. I think her birthday was yesterday. You know, happy belated birthday. But basically talking about the fact that she's about to pass and, you know, he's not ready for that. And she was like, because he's trying to find a way to cope. And it's not that he's trying to move on, but he don't want to move on, but he also needs to have a way to cope. And she suggested that they give her a living funeral. Meaning that you do like your get together, celebrate the person that you know is going to pass, but so that they can get their flowers and their respect before they go. Let me tell you something. Jada, he told Jada this. When he told Emmett, Emmett said what I said. You already talking and thinking about fucking around with another bitch? Listen, I was thinking the same thing. I'm telling y'all when they popped up in the way that they had them, okay? I said, let me find out in the next season when Jada ain't here, this who he gonna move on to. But all right. And Emmett, he really wasn't cool with it, but he went along with it. Jada surprisingly was okay with it, but she said, yeah, this is something to get everybody together so, you know, we can just have a good time. No sad shit or nothing like that. Because she had just told Tracy, Tiffany, and Keisha, you know, that she was sick and that she was going to pass away. And I'm so glad one of them had asked her, did you get a second opinion? Because I think Tracy said, so are you sure you're not going to do chemo or radiation? Did you get a second opinion? She was like, I don't need no second opinion. I'm not trying to do the radiation and chemo. It is what it is. And I understand that. I'm going to tell y'all this. If you've been here for a minute, you heard me talk about a friend of mine's dad wound up getting skin cancer. We're literally the same age, right? I'm only a few months older than her. And she has been going through it for the past 10 years. And I mean, went through so much. She's in remission, and she just got in remission after all this time. Like, for real. And it's like, one of the scariest things that was going on, like, when I was going through a lot of the stuff that I was going through, especially, like, the depression and everything, I know that was part of it because in the back of my mind is like you're scared. You're scared when somebody say that they're sick and it's stage this, or that it's spreading and they have to go through this and they have to go through that. But it came to a point that it got so bad. I had found out that she didn't want, at one point, that she had signed a DNR. I said, oh my God, what the fuck is going on? Okay. She was heavily contemplating about not, at one point, not doing any more chemo, not doing any more, treatments and stuff like that, because she had to do chemo, she had to do immunotherapy, she had to do all of this stuff. And that wreaks havoc on your body. And the fact that, it caused a lot of other stuff to go wrong, and she had to have surgery on other things because of it. It was just a lot that was going on, right? So I understand. And when you're a family member of somebody, or a friend or a loved one of somebody that's going through it, and you hear them say, I don't want to go through treatment, or I don't want to do this or whatever, you get in your feelings, and you get, I don't know if it's like a selfish feeling, or is it just like, why won't you fight type of situation, because you want them to still be here. But then you have to put it in perspective, like, especially if they already been going through it, they're tired. They're fucking tired. Their body has been going through it, and they just can't take it anymore. So I don't, like, when my friend did that, I was in my feelings about that, because I'm like, no, I still want you here. We still need you here. Like, but at the same time, after seeing, I get it. I'm not the one that's physically going through it and have to deal with all of that. So I get why people be like, I just don't want to fight no more. Okay. Because it's just very tiring or whatever. It's too much, and they just give up. And I can't be upset with that. So I understood where Jada was coming from. It's very sad. But I really did wish that she would have got a second opinion. I'm just saying that. I really wish she would have got a second opinion, okay? Because the way that lady was telling her, the way that doctor said, oh, it came back and there ain't nothing we can do at this point. Girl, what? You ain't even gonna try? Well, if we do, it just be waste of time. What? That's basically how she said it. I ain't like the way she said that. You already know how they treat black people in the medical field and all that stuff, so that just made me feel some type of way. But yeah, and it just felt like she was passing it down to them, like, watch out for her son and all of that stuff, whatever. And that whole, when they actually do it, I didn't even think Emmy was going to show up, right? Because Emmy did come a little late. But he did show up. Everybody showed up. And then, they had everybody get up there, say their little fun time. Her old ex, the one that Darnell came through and stole from her. Yes. Bitch stole him from her. Stole her from him, I should say. Baby, he popped up and, I wouldn't have been able to do it. I'm sorry. The way they got up there and this was so, I feel like this was one of the best scenes in a long time from the Chi. One of the most heartfelt and emotionally filled scenes from the Chi that I've seen in a minute. Okay, that I can recall and remember, because I know you want to make this a celebratory thing and you don't want tears and all this stuff. And the friends and them, they tried to get up there and they was up there, laughing and, recalling memories and all that stuff. We didn't hear it, but we saw the smiles, we saw the emotions or whatever. But baby, when Emmy got up there, he opened up. And as soon as I saw that, before he could even really start talking, you saw the snot coming out his nose. I said, oh my goodness. Because I already told y'all, if something happened to my mama on that level and she got, baby, you will never see me again. Well, I ain't gonna say you will never see me again, but you won't see me for a long time. Okay? Because I know mentally I just will not be there, and I just could not handle that shit. Baby, when he got up there and he was trying to talk, and he couldn't even talk from the heart, because I know if he would have tried to talk from the heart, it just wouldn't have came out. If it couldn't come out when he wrote down on the paper, it wasn't going to come out when he was talking from the heart. And the way that he just broke down crying, oh I'm in here. I was up in here just boo-hooing, bitch. Okay, I was just, and the way that he went over there, Darnell hugging him, and then he went over there and hugs his mom. Oh my God. And then the letter. Oh, Lord have mercy. It was beautiful. It was beautiful. It was sad, but it was beautiful. And then for them to have that moment when they were sitting in the back smoking a little something, and she was like, he said, I don't know what I'm going to do without you. And she said, I want y'all to survive. I want you to survive. And I was like, girl, what? And she said, I want you to get out of Chicago, because Chicago is becoming a dangerous place. I said, well, it's been a dangerous place, depending on where you go to. Okay, but he was like, this is all I know. She said, just promise me. I want y'all to survive, okay? And we get why she said that. Because of all of the shit that just happened between him, he almost died, you know? You literally was shot in the chest, okay? So I want you to get the hell away from this shit. That's what I want you to do. And I will say, you know, this show has had its faults and its flaws. But baby, the people of the show who put this together, y'all did one hell of a job on these scenes in this episode when it came to Jada, Darnell, and them. Whoo, cause girl, my feelings. Like I could cry right now thinking about it. But moving on from that, they come back. Keisha and what's his name? Emmett. Damian was supposed to be watching Ronnie. Mind you, they giving him a second chance after he was supposed to pick up little Ronnie before from school, but he didn't because he was up in that fucking with Zuri. Zuri is over there at the crib being mama daycare with little Ronnie, and he just taken to her. And so they looking like, you know, first of all, what you doing here? Damian called her because he just wouldn't be quiet. He wouldn't stop crying and all this stuff. She come over, take care of this little baby, and now they thinking, oh, we can hire you as a nanny. I said absolutely the fuck not. Emmett said he reformed because she said she used to babysit and work as a nanny for this other man, but this other couple, but the man started getting a little hands again, tried to make a pass at her, so she quit. He said, don't worry about that because I'm reformed. I said, that's what they always say. That's what they always say. Absolutely the fuck not. Okay? No, don't do it. Keisha, don't do that, bitch. Okay? But moving on from that, what else is going on in this episode? Girl, whew. Tiffany, girl. Nuck is just diabolical at this point. You getting close to this girl, you trying to basically be her man, okay? Now you want to help sell her products, and then trying to say, if I make it right with Alicia, because you know Alicia can't stand me, if I make it right with Alicia, you will let me sell your products and all that stuff or whatever. And she was like, cool. Then after the whole going to funeral, Mama water broke. And who was there? Victor. I thought, you know, and when Victor got up there to talk, each and every time, this is a prime opportunity. A prime opportunity, and y'all keep on passing it up. And it's pissing me off. I know somebody gonna say, well, if you want to hear him sing, go put his music on. I do, okay? But I actually bring back when celebrities used to pop up on these shows, like artists and entertainers used to pop up on these shows, and they used to show their talent, okay? Bring that back like a 90s sitcom, right? Listen, I love that. I love that. Y'all remember, as much as I can't stand her ass, but y'all remember when Nikki Gilbert popped up on Martin and she was up there singing? Yes, I love that shit. When they let Gina flex her vocals and let Tashina flex her vocals even more, I love that shit. Bitch, that's what I wanted to see, okay? That's what I want to see, you know? Victor get up there saying, you know, so people don't usually get a chance to get their flowers while they're here, so we're about to give you your flowers and everything. And so at this point, they started getting their, you know, standing up there one by one, getting the flowers or whatever. Baby, I really thought Victor was about to, when he took that mic and we was actually able to hear him, I really thought he was about to get up there when he was giving the speech and all this stuff and said, we're about to do something for you and everything. I thought he was about to get up there and sing. He could have let him hum a little touching melody, okay? And just sing a melody, okay? Yes, that's what I would have wanted. You know, that's what I would have put in there. But hey, it's not my show. But I was just like, And then he was over there and you know, talking about the whole situation, and he was like, oh, that was cute and everything, and I hope people can talk about me like that when I'm gone and all of that. And I need Tiffany to stop being mad at him, okay? It's not his fault. It's not his fault that his brother is an asshole. It's not his fault. Give that man another chance. You're gonna have to, because all of a sudden her water broke, and now you gotta trust him, because he's going to take you to the hospital. I said, oh, Lord. And mind you, I think the water broke she's early, 3 weeks early or something like that. Which, I don't think that's too early, but is that too early? For the people that have babies, let me know. But, you know, I was just like, oh, my God, her water broke. Right in the midst of Alicia trying to kill his brother. Okay? Baby. Tucson came over there to Alicia and said, listen, this is Candace. This is Reginald's girlfriend. I'm going to need you to try to get in contact with her. Try to see what's up. Get in the between of all of that stuff. Because you can get into places where I can't, because he knows how I look. I said, I think you kind of know how Alicia looked too. But okay. You know. And she was like, all of this is because they want their kids. When Alicia said, I want my son back, and Tucson was like, well, I want mine back too. Okay? And the fact that Alicia just said, I know how to kill somebody without getting caught or some shit like that. I said, oh, God, you're talking to a detective. What if she used that shit against you? Bitch, do you even think that I would never trust a cop or a detective to come in my house and just be talking so freely like that, and I think that they probably wired up themselves. Girl, please. I don't even care if I'm innocent or not. Girl, I'm going to be careful with what I say. I said, oh, y'all be so freely doing and talking these things and trusting. So basically, she get to know Candace. She poses as somebody else. And she goes to where she works at. She works at this phone store. And, you know, I don't understand people like this. And let me tell you something. Candace gives this, okay? The way that she went to Reg while she was with Dante, she easily went to Reg, okay? I'm not surprised that she was going to be just easily swayed and let this woman that ain't never seen her a day in her life just say, oh, girl, why you working? You want to be working, and I can teach you how to be just like me, rich, in my big house, you know, take you to Bora Bora, going to all these fancy places or whatever, and you ain't got to do all this stuff. You got a man, because if he in the streets, you going to be on alert, and you got to stay safe, okay? And woo, and call me if you need something, because I can help you out. Bitch, in Chicago, we doing that? We doing that up in Chicago? No, we're not. And I said, Candace, come on, what are you doing? This lady came up to you, baby. She could be the scammer of all scammers, okay? So you mean to tell me you will believe anybody that comes up to you and say, I got money, I got a big house? This how people get trafficked. This how people all of a sudden get turned into hoes, okay? And be made to pimp out, you know? Because you up here just being ever so trusting. Ever so trusting. I said, girl, she could take you and kill you right now. And so she just texted her. Reg was like, who the hell you texting? Some girl I met, this woman I met that's going to be my mentor and all of this stuff. And Reg actually likes her. Reg actually likes Candace. And it's like, I know I like you or whatever because you know that I'm not a monster. She said, I know you're not a monster, but you do got an anger problem and you better not turn up on me. He said, I ain't going to turn up on you. I said, get the fuck up out of here. Reg was about to kill everybody. Now, let me tell you something. Reg ain't smart. Unless he already know and he just playing it cool. How can you not tell that Hannibal had something to do with you getting almost getting caught with that whole jury heist? Because when he was talking to Hannibal at the beginning, Hannibal had the look of guilt on his face. He was shitting bricks. Like, oh my God, he's about to kill me. He's about to find out that it was me. Until he said, get everybody together. Because somebody did this shit. And had all the people at the table. And when it came down to Hannibal and his wife, the wife spoke up way too soon. Okay, way too quick. I was at home with him. I cooked dinner and we was watching TV. That's just basically what it is. Okay? And said something else and almost went at her and he had to calm him down. I said, you lucky, Hannibal. Because, baby, as soon as I would have saw your demeanor, I would have been like, why you shaky, nigga? You got something to do with this, huh? Okay, that would have been tucked in the back, in the very front of my mind. Like, what the fuck? All right? And so now they got to figure out who did this shit. He gonna tell Candace, you love me, why don't you like your job or whatever? She was like, hell no, because she still got to go to work. And he was like, why don't you come work with me? And I said, girl, come the fuck on. Please don't. I'm thinking this girl gonna be a little bit smart. No. They getting ready. And I noticed that when they was having that little conversation, he was like, you know I'm not a monster and all this stuff. And she had on all black. I said, what's finna happen? Girl, they finna go on a heist. She the lookout. He going to rob somebody's house. And she wind up texting while he in the house. Wind up texting Alicia, a.k.a. Terry, and told her, I'm scared. And so she was like, text back, where are you? And I said, oh my God, that's when the episode went off. I said, God damn it, Candace, you are about to be a casualty. Okay? Collateral fucking damage. Ain't this about some shit? You're getting yourself in some shit. Oh my gosh, she's just so damn stupid. Also, what else is going on? This whole situation with, what's his name? Jamal and Dom, I don't give a shit. You went from 3 episodes complaining about how you want to have kids because you want to leave a legacy to now we compromised and we don't want to have kids, but now I'm upset because I came in on her and she was playing with herself with a toy. Because if I'm married to you and you got me, how come you can't just use me? You shouldn't even be doing that. Bitch, who says? When you go in that shower, I know you jerk off. So she can't play with her little rose too? What the freak? Oh my goodness, the issues that's coming up. And see, this is all what's... Let them be a lesson, you guys. When you get into relationships right off the bat, you have to ask these questions, okay? Do you want marriage? Do you want kids? How many kids do you want if you want those kids? Where do you see yourself in these years? Do you see yourself staying in this city and all this stuff, whatever? How do you feel about it? You have to have those questions, because why would you get married and you don't know this person? You don't know this person. You don't know their wants and all this shit. Then he gonna go down there to the pastor and ask him and tell him the same thing, and thinking that Pastor Ezekiel was basically gonna say that she was wrong. And he said, "Did you join her?" I said, "Bitch, absolutely. That's baby. I see her having fun. I'm finna sit there and watch until she say, come play. Okay, that's what you do." And he said, anything goes. It's okay. Anything goes in the bedroom if it's consensual when you're married. Don't be ashamed about it. You do what you want to do. The fuck I'm gonna get mad at you playing with yourself? Okay, you can play with yourself and do what you gotta do. You, what? Oh my God. I was just like, oh my goodness. And then when it comes to Pastor Ezekiel, you got Charles. He want to be his second pastor, second in command, and he had to convince him. So he gonna let him do it eventually. But he was asking him, so when you gonna get you a wife? I hate when people ask that. When you gonna get you a husband? When you gonna get you a wife? Leave me alone. I do it when I want to do it, if it ever comes. Okay, that type of situation, right? But when it comes to Charles, he was asking that because he already know that Charles is a hoe. He said, takes one to know one. I'm a reform whore. You're a whore. Okay, so therefore I need you to calm that down. You trying to be a pastor in charge and all that stuff. You can't be doing all of this stuff. Okay, you gotta have one woman and just stick to it. Look at what happened to me. And so to try this scene with Papa and him, didn't I tell you that Papa was looking at him like another daddy? That's just all that it is. Because you got this man in your father's church. Your father who did not like him. He did not like the way that he was preaching. And not the way that he was preaching, the message that he was preaching about. Because all he was about was money. It took him to get everything taken away from him for him to have a downfall. To come back to the real essence of what the church is about. Okay? You're trying to bring the people in and to help them spiritually. And you know, be closer to God, but be one with the people. You're not trying to get money out of them. You're not trying to do all this stuff. You're trying to get them the word and get them closer to him and all of this stuff or whatever. Teach them about love. Teach them about family. Teach them about, you know, loving your neighbors and loving the world and not judging and all this stuff. Even though y'all do all that shit still. Okay? Y'all skip over all of that shit. Okay? But now you coming back to what the basis, the real essence of what it is to preach the word. Right? And you're doing it in this man's church that already denounced you and didn't like you because of how your messaging was in the beginning. That's crazy. And then telling Papa that I'm not trying to take over your father's place. I'm not trying to take his place and all this stuff. And Papa used to act. They have him so one note. And that is my problem. He has no real expressions. He is just so one note. And he wasn't like that when his character was first introduced to us. When he was around, he was funny, he was fun and everything. And I understand that. I don't know if it's because the character's supposed to be going through a grieving process or whatever, but he got older, and even when he was all about the religion when he was younger, he still was fun. He still was loose a little bit. You know what I'm saying? He wasn't so uptight. Now he's just, everything's God. We don't really see him having fun. He just so, and that's, I was just like, what the freak is going on with Papa's character? And I don't like it. And then all of a sudden he slipped up and called old boy Dad. I said, Jesus Christ. I looked up and I was like, what? And then he was looking like, because he did say, I'm not trying to replace your dad. Okay. And then he was like, you're funny, because he started, recited some lyrics because he said he getting back to the basics or whatever, and he started reciting some lyrics and he started laughing, and then Papa was like, oh, you so funny, Dad. Bitch. That is sad. That is sad. I'm so sorry. I should laugh at it because I understand, but at the same time, I don't like what they doing to Papa's character. He's lost, if you ask me, and I feel like that's probably what they're trying to show a little bit. And so you got two people that lost their way a little bit. And then Papa suggested, because, you know, Ezekiel is trying to show this different side of him, who he originally was before all of the big money and the big, huge church congregation and the cars and stuff, right? He said, okay, well, let's come back on my show. Come on my show and just let the people know who you really are. I'm gonna be real honest with you, girl, and I understand that he not no real journalist or whatever, because, you know, everybody swear that they journalists today ain't got nan journalism degree. Okay, didn't go to nan college for nothing, didn't sit in nan classroom, didn't go on nan internship or nothing. But this is why I don't, and I know it's not meant for me. It's something I have to work on myself. I get nervous. I have bad anxiety already. Y'all already know that. I get nervous when I have to talk to people that I don't really know and have to ask them questions and all of this stuff. Especially like if I'm watching a TV show and then all of a sudden, I'm going to be real honest with y'all. I have gotten offers a couple of times to interview some cast members for some shows, okay? They were smaller shows or whatever, but I actually know you, because I don't know you like that, but I'm watching you on TV, and then to sit there and actually have to ask questions and be natural, I wouldn't be able to do it. When I did that interview for Sierra, who played Lily on the Oval's podcast, I was so goddamn nervous. Like, she was one of my favorites on the show. Very personable to me all the time. So we cool, but as soon as that camera came up and she started asking those questions or whatever, and we tried to get in the conversation, I was nervous as shit. Okay, I was shitting bricks, and you can hear it in my voice sometimes, and it take a minute for me to just, girl, I say that to say everybody ain't meant to be, everybody ain't meant to be a interviewer or journalist or whatever, because the way Papa was asking those questions, baby, I would have turned that shit off. I would have turned that shit off. No shade. I don't like to be negative or whatever. And I get he young and all that stuff. It was just so monotone. So why do you think about, why do you do this? Why do you do that? Like, it wasn't engaging or anything, but I did like the answers. I know Caroline got upset and Kenya was upset at the same time at the fact that he basically mentioned them on the podcast, and Papa had asked, what happened with your first marriage? And he basically, instead of putting it out there, now let me tell you something, Caroline, while you was up in your feelings, it's her name Carolyn, while you was up in your feelings about the fact that he mentioned you and all this stuff, whatever, on the podcast, you better be glad that he didn't tell the truth that you cheated on him. You better be glad that he didn't put that up in there, okay? He kind of spared you a little bit and took all the blame on him, because technically speaking, that's the reason why he cheated, because he went home, okay? He was so about the church and everything else that he neglected his family. But I would have felt some type of way if I was Kenya. I would have felt some type of way if I was Kenya too, because, I mean, you put her business out there and said, that's probably why she was out here just being in the streets with these boys, trying to find me and these boys. I said, oh my God. You just basically put it out there that your daughter was out here being a little hoe. Okay? Bitch, I would have felt some type of way about that too. Alright, like, God damn. It was like, but now y'all together, y'all working on y'all relationship now. And he was like, yeah, we're working on our relationship, and I see what I did wrong, and I'm, trying to make up for it and all this stuff. I said, oh my goodness, Kenya, bitch, slap him. Daddy, you call me a whore without calling me a whore? Oh my God, it reminded me of, y'all remember, I finna go back and do a rewatch of Moesha. Because you out here acting like a slut. Bitch, Frank didn't have to do that. Frank did not have to do that, okay? I said, oh my God, all because she got a tattoo. All because she got a tattoo on her stomach and she had a little midriff. She had a little midriff, and it wasn't even that big. It wasn't even that. It was, I acting like a little slut. I said, oh my God. Frank was the worst. Frank was the motherfucking worst, okay? But anyway, so that was that. And, he was on there begging, please, Carolyn, you hit me this. I want to do it again. I want to give you another chance. Well, I want you to give me another chance, and we want to work on this. I said, you know what, Carolyn, you right in your feelings, though. If you felt that way, you speak up, because that's what happened the last time. Y'all probably wasn't speaking and communicating right. And so we want to start this on the, we want to start this over. So we're going to have to do it right. We're going to have to communicate. And he heard what she said. And I'm so glad that, even though I ain't like the way he first came on, I'm giving him a chance, because he is in his redemption arc, okay? And she didn't just say, fuck you, nigga, I don't want nothing else to do with you. They heard each other. I was like, all right, I'll let that go. But I will say this. They did take, Lena did put, or the people of the show, they did put one of the scenes from Boys in the Hood. If you watch Boys in the Hood, Furious, he had that scene where he had them come together. It was that billboard outside and talking about how we need to, come together and all this stuff and woo woo woo. When Jake and Papa and them came up to it, and then all the other people in the neighborhood came up, and it was that billboard talking about the military, and they was talking about, I'd rather do this instead of the military, do this and do that. And then you had the professor come out there trying to be like Furious in Boys in the Hood, and say basically what they need to do as men and as black people and all this stuff and woo woo woo. I was like, all right. It was so on the nose. What else we dealt up in this episode? I feel like, did I get everything? Lene, Jamal, Dom, Kenya, Damian, Zori, Darnell, Emmett, Rashad, Jada, Tracy. I still don't understand why Tracy's still on the show, but hey, that I do. Okay. Who else? Nuck, if you buck, right? That. Anyway, I feel like I got everything, and if I did I? I feel like I got everything. Tiffany, girl, I feel so bad for Tiffany. Oh my God, when Tiffany found out, y'all think Reg gonna get caught? I haven't seen the preview for the season finale, because next week is the season finale. Because y'all think Reg gonna get caught, or is he gonna get shot? Which one is it? Y'all think he gonna get caught and go to jail, or do y'all think he gonna die? Which one? Or do you think something's gonna happen to Bakari? I really don't want nothing to happen to Bakari, but I'm sad that I can see something happen to Bakari. Like, something big is gonna happen. It got to. I'm hoping for a miracle for Jada, that she all of a sudden pop up and be feeling good. But you know, when they be about to die, sometimes they get that burst of energy, and then next thing you know, they gone. Oh, I don't want that. But anyway, you guys, that's the episode. Tell me how you feel about it. If I did miss something, because I don't know, it feel like I did, but I probably did it. Y'all tell me how y'all feel, and I'll see you guys later. Enjoy the rest of y'all weekend. Be safe. Peace.